yeah, it's a very young team, but I think that's a good thing to get us really going into the season. Everyone there is a really hard worker, and you can look at a small team as a benefit. I think everyone will really matter because in cross country it's 5 scorers, so everyone's going to count.
Going in, we've had a pretty good couple weeks of practice here leading up to it, and I think everybody's really excited to test their limits, see what they can do, but also just kind of the freshmen are really excited to get their first one under their belts because it is a change from high school, and the upperclassmen are looking forward to just getting the season going again.
Peyton, very obviously, probably the number 1 runner. The nice thing is Grace had a great summer, really just kind of doubled down on last year, and she made a lot of gains last year, and she's kind of taken those and sprung board from them. So looking for her to be a really solid number 2. I think the surprise coming out of the camp for me on the women's side is Brooke. Had some just health issues all through high school and finally dialed those in over the summer. Looks really strong, really motivated to do something. So I think those 3 are kind of top runners. Now it's just seeing who fills in after that to round out our top 5. Yeah, we have a few more young guys in the mix. The nice thing is a lot of those young guys have a combination of talent and desire to be good. So I think if everything goes right, we can make a push for kind of top 3 in the conference again. But it's like any sport, right? It takes a lot of things going right consistently. But if that happens, yeah, just a talented, I think, really dynamic group. The group of young guys in particular kind of remind me of the 2016, 2017, 2018 type group in terms of personality and passion and those type of things.
Goals, I think we want to be somewhere in the upper half of the NSIC for rankings once it comes to conference time and just get out to regions healthy and do our best. But overall, I think we've got a little bit of a younger team this year, so hopefully just laying a good base for the future and kind of working on our team culture a little bit and getting everybody a little bit closer together as well.
Personal goals, I don't like to put specific times on things because in cross country a course is a course and one's going to have a lot of hills, one's not, but definitely just giving it all I got place-wise in the championship seasons when it really matters and not worrying too much about my finishes the first few meets, but really focusing on where it's going to matter in the last few meets.
When we start having those conversations with them, there's a lot of common themes year to year to year. You know, I think once you start to establish a culture, it's wanting to grow it constantly. So there's always those threads that are run through our program. But sometimes I think it's taking a step back and reinforcing the things you talk about all the time. And that was the big theme from this year, was really simplifying, right? Like, I don't need a 27-point plan to build a good culture. We need to focus on a couple things, I think, and really focus on those things really well. So a lot of the conversations were just around commitment, and commitment in a few places specifically. First was obviously going to be the sport part of it, but it's commitment to doing everything you can to maximize your potential. Commitment to being an excellent student, right? Because this is a higher ed environment and you want to balance athletics and academics. The third piece was commitment to being an exceptional teammate, right? I think the limiter for a lot of programs is the team environment. So we want to do everything we can to elevate that team environment. And then the last piece we talked about this year was ownership and all of those things. One of the things I talk to the team about frequently is at some point, you know, my career is going to end here, right? It's going to be retirement, you know, firing, taking another job, whatever it might be. I'm pretty realistic about it. But their experience is something that they're going to carry with them for a lifetime. That commitment, that connection to here, hopefully will never be severed. So trying to get them to understand that if this is going to be something special, it's largely on them to build it. And those are kind of the big things. So commitment and ownership.
Yeah, I think you really just got to lead by example and show that it's not just the work in practice, it's the work out of practice, the little things that are really going to add up. And a lot of it's attitude. You got to show up every day wanting to do your best and wanting to do what you can do and encouraging others along the way. So I think that's the main thing, is doing it for not just yourself, but for the team.
It was nice being able to get out and kind of do our more traditional preseason again. I think that's one of the things where we've had years where we've had success. That's been one of the major catalysts. You kind of get away. The team can de-stress after summer training, summer jobs, all of those things, get in the mix with the new people and kind of get to know each other, really focus on training and establish, you know, what we want to do for a year. So yeah, this year was great to be able to get out and do that again.
This year we really got to bond because we're all in cabins and we all kind of hung out in one cabin the whole time, night and day. So I think that was really nice to get to know each other. We played a lot of rounds of spoons. We had a really good bonfire, and I think it was the best way to kind of get the freshmen out of their shell and really get everyone opened up, I guess, to the team.
We come in and kind of get a good feel for where everybody's at, and it's also a really good time for bonding. I know we played a bunch of games, we all hung out, cooked food together, all that stuff. A little bit of yelling, but that's expected. So everybody came out of it a little bit closer, so it's a good time.
You know, last year we grew the college team slightly, but where we really took off was the high school piece of it, where we approached 20, 25 teams. We're still 2 weeks out from the event, a little over 2 weeks out, and last time I looked, we're over 25 high school teams coming now. Some of the Summit League schools have decided to come to the meet this year, so we're going to see growth in the college space. So as we get bigger, the logistics of it become a little more challenging, but it's a fun opportunity. As you mentioned, it kind of draws a lot of people from all over the region and all over the community, and in my mind really just showcases and highlights what cross country can be if you really are deliberate and saying, hey, we're going to put together a good product and put it out there and share it with the community. The idea being is to put together another good meet this year and continue to grow it and show what the sport is capable of doing if you really, try and make it something special.